last night. Welcome, everybody. We made it. We made it to the end of the week. It's Friday here on X's and Bros. Glad you're with us on the Michigan Sports Network. Glad you're with us for X's and Bros. I'm Matt Shepard. Andy McDonald is alongside. The Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. You could text the program Sports Radio to 21,000. Always welcome the comments. Love it on YouTube, X, Facebook, whatever it may be. Thank you for some of your time here on this Friday. Coming up at 7:35, John Paul Morosi will join us. We will talk baseball and a very important initiative that he's taking place in this weekend here closer to Metro Detroit in Ann Arbor. First things first, Andy, you had your golf league last night, I believe.
You're correct. You're correct.
How did we do? What was the strength of your game? What was the weakness of your game? How did you feel?
I'd say the short game, which is the past few rounds I've played, that has been the better part for me. But yeah, I started with a double and a triple, which was absolutely terrible. So I was just not, I wasn't feeling it. And
no, you weren't.
No,
when you're
I was
5
not
over
happy.
2. No,
but then I cleaned it up after that. I went like par, birdie, par. So I started doing. I ended up like pushing one of the best people in our league for his score, but he didn't play very well yesterday. He usually, again, this is a pretty easy course I play at. So I want to tell
hey, listen, I don't care how easy it is. You still have to make the shots.
Yeah, no, there's challenging shots around the green. The greens are in really good shape there, and they're actually pretty tough a lot of the time. But yeah, I ended up shooting a 43 yesterday, which I was happy with how bad I started. So
hey, listen, considering the start, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, so I was happy with that for sure.
All right, good stuff. I was thinking about you because it's the obvious stories overnight are the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, Tigers preview. In golf yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, the Truist Championship began. Was round 1 yesterday. Some rain. It's in Charlotte. It's some rain. They had to pause the action a little bit. Not everybody finished. But Matt McCarty did. You ever heard of him? Me either. Matt McCarty's at 8 under par after carding a 63. That's not the story. He made 223 feet of putts.
That's you want to talk about a way to make your game better with the flat stick. That's it for sure.
He made putts of 50 feet or more, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
That's crazy.
3 putts of 50 feet or more. The highlights are amazing. If you get a second during the show,
that could truly be one of the best putting days of his career. No matter what. Like if he goes on to do well.
Yeah. I can't imagine him having a better one. I mean, here's what I wonder. As you played in your league last night and I watched this dude sink these putts, I said to myself, do you go to bed at night after round 1, head on the pillow, wake up with a lead and say to yourself, I'm the leader because I'm a good putter, or I got really fortunate. I got to start sticking these approach shots a little closer.
I'm always beating myself up. So if it was me, it would have been the second answer there. I definitely would have been like, no, I got to be better than that overall. No doubt.
Because I don't know about you. I'm 53 feet away. I'm just hoping for a tap in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the goal. Like I just try to put it close. I can get off the 2-putt and move on with my day.
That's long as I'm not 3-putting.
Yep.
What's the one thing that will kill your round faster than anything else?
3-putting, 100%.
Or more.
If you, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sit there and tell you anything's much of a gimme for me. 3 putts or more. You don't have any 3 putts in a round. Think about how good your round is.
Oh yeah.
How many times you 3-putt yesterday?
The first hole, that was it. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So the double. So you must have gone OB in the second hole.
I had to drop, and then I hit a tree. Shots, yeah, one of those holes, man. I'm just trying to forget about those 2, Matt. You're bringing it back up to me right now.
I know. I'm sorry about that. I just think about the 43 instead.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll do that.
I've been fortunate in my life because I've played with some pros, not huge names, but guys who are pros. All right. They played on the Canadian Tour, played on the PGA Tour, so on and so forth. And they've told me numerous times, first of all, I can't get super angry because I'm not that good, which is great advice. The second, some of the second and third best advice is, try to avoid the 3-putting. Just get the ball on the green. Don't be always going for the pin, okay? But just get the ball on the green and avoid your blow-up holes and avoid the 5. So you mentioned hitting the trees. done it more than you've been playing golf, probably. Instead, how about just punching it out into the fairway?
Yep, that's the better
Punch it
choice.
out instead of saying, I'm going to pull off a miraculous Bubba Watson shot.
Yeah,
you remember that, right? At the Masters,
yep.
where he curls it.
I do. Yep.
That was just one of the more phenomenal shots ever. I'm that guy. I'm the guy who's like, okay, trees are 80% air, which I still think is bullcrap. And I'm going to do everything I can to, maybe just get under it enough to lift it over or get through it. Right? I've got an area between these two trees. I think I can do it. What makes me think I can do it? If I miss a fairway that is 25 yards wide off the tee, I think I'm going to be able to take an iron and squeeze one 8 feet between two trees. Who am I kidding? Punch it out, get it on, 2-putt, take the bogey instead of risking the triple.
That's just the competitiveness, man. You're thinking about how to get it there in the way that's going to make your score the lowest, and sometimes it gets you into trouble. But yeah, those punch shots, man, that's one of the toughest ones to practice too. I feel like, because you never really think about it, but I've definitely done it a few times, and yesterday it did come in handy a couple times. So, with
that said, I am still the guy. I say that to myself all the time. I'm still the guy who keeps trying it, which is
exactly.
Not always. You know why? I'll tell you why, Andy. It's almost like when Andre Drummond would hit a three, his first three. He's like, see, I can hit it. I watch it go through the hoop. I'm going to keep doing it. If I do it once, I think I can do it plenty more. And it's not a smart approach.
You say that with Andre Drummond. I feel like with the Sar Thompson making that 3-pointer that didn't count last night, I feel like people in Detroit understood how rare that was. I don't know if I want him to be trying those the rest of the series, but that was a pretty cool moment, even though it didn't count as a point.
Very good transition as the Pistons knock off the Cavs 107-97, their 5th straight playoff win. How many of us are now going, I don't recognize this team? This is the team, and I tweeted this out last night, this is the team that won 60 games during the regular season. This is the team that you and I bragged about. This is the team that we fell in love with. This is the team we feel like was the best in the Eastern Conference. And this was the style of play that you and I both believed allowed us to think they're an NBA Finals squad. And they are. They are. When they're this good and this connected and this locked in, Cade Cunningham, 25 points, 15th straight, 20-point performance to start his career, 4th most in NBA history. We'll give you the names associated with that. By the way, he also had 10 assists. All right. We'll give you the names associated with that. Tobias Harris. Start writing the apology letters. 21 points, 7th straight 20-point game. We'll put that in perspective. Duncan Robinson popped in 17, included 5 triples. Really impressive, balanced, outstanding game for Detroit. One of the best of the playoffs for them. Game 3's tomorrow in Cleveland. A lot to get to here on a very busy Friday morning. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
If you're the largest selling comedy recording artist in history,
you might be a redneck.
Jeff Foxworthy, Friday, June 12th, inside the Soaring Eagle Entertainment Hall.
Our parents can't text, and our children can't write.
Tickets start at $60 and are on sale now at the box office and online at etix.com. Laugh it up at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, Friday, June 12th with Jeff Foxworthy.
My father-in-law got his chest hair caught in his zipper.
SoaringEagleCasino.com.
How would you like to watch the Pistons in the playoffs on the biggest TV in Michigan? Well, you can get a huge deal and also get the biggest TV at your local ABC Warehouse store. You can shop online right now at abcwarehouse.com. They have locations all across Michigan. So if you want to watch the Pistons in the playoffs on the biggest TV in your neighborhood, go to your local ABC Warehouse store or shop online at abcwarehouse.com.
Motown Legends, TNT, together again. Temptation. 4 Tops, Saturday night, May 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Tickets start at $55 and on sale now at the box office at etix.com. Saturday night, May 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Temps and tops together again.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Yeah, that side of the ball, once it's game, it's our identity. And we want to impose ourselves all 4 quarters, but, you know, in winning time, we got to be locked in and we got to execute. So I thought we did a pretty good job tonight. They had a couple runs today that, you know, wish we would have stopped earlier, but for the most part, we did a great job defensively.
Cunningham, man. I mean, we're really lucky, aren't we? I'm serious. There are certain stars in sports, certain superstars in sports, and who everybody would want on their team. It's oftentimes how I measure how good a team is. If I'm in the other dugout or I'm on the other bench, I'm on the other sideline, how many guys am I looking on the other team saying, I wish I had that dude? Every person who roots for the Cleveland Cavaliers looks at the Detroit Pistons bench and says, I wish I had Cade Cunningham. And I could argue, Andy, maybe this might be hyperbolic. Outside of OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they love their guy, and they should love their guy. He hit 21 last night. OKC, and another easy win for them. They're beating the crap out of the Lakers. Lakers aren't very good. But anyway, I look at it, and I bet you most teams, if not every team, Wembanyama, would look at Detroit and say, I want that guy over our best guy. Like Luka Doncic is a really good scorer. Not very good defensively. He's gotten better. He's not very good. Cade Cunningham is really good defensively, and we don't talk about it enough.
No,
I think Donovan Mitchell's a really good player. He's not Cade Cunningham, man.
No,
this
not
dude
at
is
all.
this dude is rare. He's very rare. All right, and I used to think that Wembanyama, when he wins that first MVP, he's going to keep winning MVPs, and that's going to be really hard for Cade Cunningham. You know what? These are the things that are etched in your mind. There are certain moments in athletes' careers, and there are certain extended moments, series in their careers where you start to go, okay, this guy has it all. He can shoot, he can pass, he can defend, and he steps up in big moments. And those are things that resonate with voters, fans, and other players. It's not just the, you know what, he's the guy who deserves the most votes for the All-Star game. No. These things right now, look at all the people talking about him. Those who have won titles on podcasts, because there must be at least 50 million podcasts these days. Every single dude, when they're talking about basketball, is mentioning Cade Cunningham. That's how good he has been. He is so silky smooth. And I had mentioned, by scoring 25 last night, it's his 15th straight 20-point performance in the playoffs to start a career. Here are the other players in history to score 20 points in each of their first 15 career playoff games. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. That's it. There's 4 guys in the history of this sport to do that. Bill Russell didn't do it. Magic Johnson didn't do it. Michael Jordan didn't do it. Larry Bird didn't do it. Kobe Bryant didn't do it. Cade Cunningham has. That speaks volumes. That's crazy. His first 15 games, 20 or more. Just unbelievable. Game 3, like I said, tomorrow. I said OKC blows out LA 125-107. Chet Holmgren was the best player. If you stayed up and watched it, 22 points, 9 boards. They're up 2 games tonight. Tigers are in Kansas City tonight. Start of a 3-game weekend series. KC lost to Cleveland last night 8-6. So they had won 7 of 10. Now they're 6 and 4 in their last 10. It'll be Kader Montero getting the nod against Chris Bubich. Ty Madden's going to start on Saturday, and then it's a bullpen game. Can they stay afloat? Sure they can. It's as much because the division is that bad. And quite honestly, the league is that bad. I mean, I'm the American League. The Tigers aren't the only team that are playing bad baseball. Everybody else outside the Yankees and Rays were winners over the Red Sox last night. Yankees, another win last night. Yankees might be one of the better Yankees teams we've seen in a long, long time because they're pitching. Somebody suggested, would you do this deal if you were the Tigers? Tarek Skubal to the Yankees for Cam Schlittler, Ben Rice, and George Lombard Jr. That is George Lombard's son. George Lombard, the bench coach for the Tigers. One of his sons is George Lombard Jr. I think who turned down a scholarship to Vanderbilt, and after he was drafted by the Yankees in the first, maybe the second round, but I think he's a first-round pick, almost positive. Anyway, would you do that? I'm like, hell yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, in this spot right now, I'll give you not say yes to that. Are you kidding me?
Even if he weren't hurt, Andy,
no, I agree. I agree with you there too. But right now, I mean, yeah.
Well, here's the reason I say that. Schlittler would be your number 2 pitcher, unless Framber Valdez has another meltdown. He'd be your number 2 guy and a future ace. Rice would be a starter for you every single day.
Yeah, for sure. He'd immediately be in the lineup. Yep.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he's an MVP candidate right now. And George Lombard Jr. is a highly thought of prospect as a left side of the infield. Remember, I've said the defense is bad. The infield defense is bad. Somebody got mad at me yesterday on social media, which is fine. I have no problem with it. But they're saying how they had to mute me because just too negative about the Tigers. I'm like, defense. I'm like, wait a minute. So a minus 25 in your defensive run saved is okay, or a minus 7, I should say, which ranks 25th in all of baseball. You're okay with that? Wow. All right. I guess everybody has different standards. I have a different standard for them. Anyway, the good news is for the Tigers, and they can weather this storm. Hell yeah, they can. I told you this at the beginning of the month. I told you their schedule and who they're playing. This is the month where you can either stretch your lead, because they were in first place in the division at one point, or you can, if you happen to get behind, you can doggy paddle and stay in it. So I'm not suggesting all these injuries that they're experiencing that you and I have never seen before. I'm not suggesting those injuries knock them out of any race. Not at all. I think they can absolutely stay in this thing. Guys have to perform, obviously. The injuries, people keep talking about the injuries. The injuries are to the pitching staff, and it's big. It's really important. Everybody else, Baez and Torres, I get it. But you've got guys who can fill those roles. You've got guys who can come in and play. You want to play somewhere. You want to find a place for Cole Keith. Jace Young, you believe, you bring him up. He was a former first-round pick. You want to see something on him. Zach McKinstry was an all-star a year ago. Come on, man. What are you talking about? Parker Meadows is out. You didn't like him anyway because you didn't think he could hit. So you've got guys who can fill that role. Tarek Skubal might be back as soon as 4 to 6 weeks. The surgery went well. There was one loose body. I say that like it's a big deal. I got a stone in my shoe. I don't know. I don't know what it's like, right? I don't know what that's like.
I don't know. That term loose bodies, man. I don't know.
It is.
It gets me.
It feels like you're talking about Diana Rossini. But anyway, so you got one loose body in there. It's been removed, and that's not a lot of damage. So that's a good thing. I would remind you this: the Tigers are 46-23 when Tarek Skubal starts a game. They are 145 up, 148 down when he doesn't. Let me reiterate that to you. When he starts 46-23, twice as many wins as losses, 145 and 148 when he doesn't start. Carolina's starting to pull away from Philadelphia. They beat the Flyers 4-1. They're up 3-0. Jordan Staal and Andrei Svechnikov each had a goal and an assist. Here's our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. Andy has already tweeted it out because he's on it. Very sharp, as always. We ask you, who's been the better player in the series than you thought? Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, Dennis Jenkins. Vote as often as you want. The results come your way on Monday. John Paul Morosi joins us 7:35 on X's and Bros.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Saturday night, May 23rd.
Carry on my wayward son.
Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort welcomes multi-platinum legends, Kansas. Tickets start at $60 and are on sale now at the box office or etix.com. Don't miss the best of classic rock. Kansas returns to Soaring Eagle Saturday, May 23rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
I think, as that was happening, they started to pick up their pressure a little bit more. We got a little sped up, but we found our resolve, got back to who we are.
Yeah, man, we just know just last series we was down 3-1. So we're going to keep swinging. You know what I mean? Our back's still against the wall. The world still don't believe. Yeah, man, we just know just last series we was down 3-1. So we're going to keep swinging. You know what I mean? Our back's still against the wall. The world still don't believe. We still trying to prove something to ourselves. You know what I mean? We set out this year with certain goals in our mind, and we're not there yet. I'm not finished. We just came out this series and took care of home court like we were supposed to. So now it's just about, like you said, we got to do a good job of talking to each other and staying hungry and staying humble, but yet still coming out with that fire. You know what I mean? Like our backs is against the wall, because it is.
It's Dennis Jenkins, 14 points last night. He also had 6 rebounds. He had 4 assists.
How much better has he looked this series so far?
Andy, it's night and day, man. He was also a +9, which was second best on the team to Cade Cunningham's +13. That tells you something. So
no, he's playing good basketball right now.
He really is. Let's be transparent here, okay? In case people haven't listened. I'm wrong. Period. Yep. I wanted Dennis Jenkins. I didn't want to see him anymore in that Orlando series. I thought he dribbled too much. I thought he shot too much. I thought that the offense stopped when he was on the floor. I didn't like his decision-making. JB Bickerstaff stayed with him.
No, there's a moment in the first game, actually, of the series where he went inside and got blocked again, and he was doing that time and time again. Like, he just thought he could take the shot or be the bigger person, and JB called him over because I think someone got an offensive rebound for the Pistons went to the free throw line. JB called him over, and just you could see, like, with his hand motion, he was telling him, like, pass that out, stop trying to take that shot. And he's done that more. He did it a couple of times last night. He definitely looks like he's just growing up, like, right now in front of our eyes.
I said before this series, one of the things some of us will be looking at, including yours truly, is how Dennis Jenkins plays compared to Dennis Schroeder. I wanted Dennis Schroeder back. Last year, when Trajan Langdon decided, we're not going to give you the extra year, he signed in Sacramento, was traded to Cleveland. I thought, brilliant move for Cleveland at the trade deadline or before. And I said to myself, that's the kind of guy I want back. He's a better defender. He's more reliable with the basketball in his hands, allows Cade Cunningham to play off. I was wrong. First 2 games, maybe a small sample size for you, but I'm willing to throw myself under the bus. First 2 games, Dennis Jenkins, 55 minutes, 26 points total now. 55 minutes, 26 points, 7 assists, 13 boards. All right, 4 steals, 2 turnovers. That's it. Dennis Schroeder, through the first 2 games, 36 minutes. So he'd be playing more in Detroit than he would be Cleveland, but either way, only 13 points, 8 assists, so more assists, only 4 rebounds, no steals. and 6 turnovers. Cleveland, again, small sample size, first 2 games, softer than the Pistons. Any objective person watching this series says otherwise. They are not objective. Detroit is tough. They are physical. They are committed. They are connected. They communicate. They are everything you want in your basketball team. Go ahead and get caught up in names. Do it. I care about how they play. I like Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a really good player. There were times last night where even his teammates were upset at his unwillingness to battle through screens. I truly believe this. I am not one of those guys who sit there and go, you impose your will on the other. I hate that phrase, quite honestly. I'm not going to use it here, but I do believe Detroit's dogged defense and unrelenting pressure on the defensive side forced Cleveland to say, oh my God, man, do I have what it takes? I think there was a part of Cleveland last night, not saying the whole game, but there was at some point saying, do we have enough of this quote unquote dog in us to handle this team? There were guys for Cleveland, you could tell, oh my God, I've had enough. James Harden's awful. Awful. He's going to be a Hall of Fame player. He was a 75th anniversary guy, 75th anniversary team guy. Okay. He's an MVP. He's finished runner-up a couple of times. He's an 11-time All-Star and an 8-time All-NBA player, which tells you something because his defense has never been good. He's an offensive player, an offensive player alone. And by the way, in his prime, he was very good at scoring the ball. In the playoffs, he has been recently, especially, horrific. His overall numbers in his career are not that far off in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Regular season, 35 minutes a game, 24 points, shoots 44%, and 36.5 from deep. In the playoffs, in his career, he's got more minutes, 36. He's got one bucket fewer, all right, 22.5 points. He shoots 2% less from the field, and he shoots 2.5% less from 3. Here's the difference. In big moments, so it's probably not fair to talk about the NBA Finals back in 2012. It's a long time ago, but he only averaged 12.5 points per game. In bigger moments, the certain finals games, and especially game 7s and so on and so forth, he has not been very good as of late. He has no desire to play defense. That's always been the case. He doesn't, I don't know what's going on. He doesn't know how to dribble. He just throws it away. If you're a Cleveland fan, it has to be maddening to watch. How bad is it? Great question. I mean, I could tell you how great Cade Cunningham is, and I would. Averaging 31.5 points a game, 7.5 assists, shooting 55% from 3 during this 5-game playoff winning streak. A plus 64 during this 5-game winning streak. Folks, if I said to you, who leads all the playoffs in scoring? You know who the answer is? Cade Cunningham. If I said, who leads all the playoffs in assists? And I'm not talking about the Pistons. I'm talking about the entire postseason. Western Conference, Eastern Conference. Who leads everybody in assists? Cade Cunningham. Who's got the highest point total in one specific game? Cade Cunningham. Who has the most points per game in Pistons playoff history? Cade Cunningham. Third straight 25-10 game.
In the first series, we talked about the turnovers a lot, and obviously, they were a bigger deal and they showed up more. You haven't heard anybody really talking about them as much lately, but we did get a texter still here talking. Chad, he said he's still is mentioning, bro, you got to love Cade's turnovers. So
look,
I see. I mean, he had 5 last night, but
no, but I do appreciate the texter. The texters, that's astute. I'm telling you, I think it's really smart. we sit there and we always look at the positive, and I'm glad we can do that today because too much sports talk radio is negative. All right. I'm glad we can look at the positive. But the texter is right. And it's part of the reason why I think they need another guy who can handle the basketball. Dennis Jenkins aside, they need another guy.
No, absolutely. They still do.
So some Cade Cunningham. There's a lot asked of Cade Cunningham. For the most part, he delivers. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got problems with their game. The reigning MVP is ridiculed regularly for flopping. The turnovers can be fixed. But to say they're not a problem is being blind to the problem.
No, there was a big one last night when that game was close. I don't know if you remember when he drove to the hole and he kind of, I think he was trying to pass it instead of Dern or something, but the play wasn't there at all. And it was a big turnover. They just missed the three on the other end that, kept the score the same. But
yeah, I know exactly what situation you're talking about. And I think you're right about it. I'm glad the texter brought it up. And I don't disagree with him. Not one bit. But I would tell you this. So I just brought up Cade Cunningham. And by the way, third straight game at 25-10 ties Isaiah Thomas for most in Pistons playoff history. That's something else. Meanwhile, the GOAT of this series is Harden. And I don't mean greatest of all time. I mean GOAT as in the Billy Goat in the backyard eating grass. He finished game 2, 10 points. He was 3 of 13, Andy. 2 points in the second half. This was the big acquisition for you. 2 points in the second half. This was his 20th playoff game in which he shot 25% or worse from the field. That is the most playoff games in the shot clock era. So that's number one. Here's another one. And this is numbers heavy. So my apologies if it's tough to compute. Basically what you're doing is you're going to talk to your friends and you're saying, by the way, James Harden has been sucking this entire time. And we haven't necessarily noticed it because we're so wrapped up in his beard and how he doesn't get food caught up in it, right? If you watch any of the beard meets food, it's James Harden. Anyway, James Harden, it was his 182nd career playoff game. 36th time that he's had 3 or fewer made field goals. In other words, 20% of his career playoff games, he's made fewer than 3 field goals in a game. Unbelievable. Hell, it's the 46th time, Andy, that he's had more turnovers than field goals made. In other words, 25% of the games he's played in his career in the playoffs, he's had more turns than field goals made. That is embarrassing for a guy of his quote-unquote caliber. And he's a big reason why I think Cleveland played as soft as they did. And I hate that word. Usually I don't use that word because I think in order for you to reach this level, you have to be a different kind of tough. I respect athletes like nobody's business. The sacrifice that it takes every single day, the toughness, sure, they're going to get a couple of weeks off. You and I get 2 weeks vacation too. Well, me and Andy don't, but we're going to take them anyway. We don't get paid for it. These guys do. But when they work, they work. I am consistently amazed at the cardiovascular fitness of NBA players and NHL players, but especially NBA players. Cade Cunningham barely breaks a sweat running up and down the floor. I would need an oxygen mask after 1 quarter, maybe half of a quarter for what he does. An oxygen mask. No matter what age I was at in my life. So I'm amazed by that. But James Harden does not have the want to defensively. He takes the easy way out. If you really want to appreciate this Pistons team, watch them give the effort you hope to get as a fan. You're paying your money, you're paying your parking, you're paying for your beer and your hot dog and all that other stuff. You sit down in your seat and you say, I just want someone to care as much as I do. And I want someone to try as hard as I do at my job. That's what you hear from fans all the time. And it's understandable. I got no problem with it. You should expect that. Is there another team that gives you that like this team?
I can't
think of one.
No.
And I'm not getting hyperbolic here, Andy. I'm not suggesting this is the greatest basketball team I've ever seen. Absolutely not.
Nope.
I do believe the championship teams in this town are very similar. They have the same DNA. If Chuck Daly were coaching the team in 89 and 90 and coached him in 04 instead of Larry Brown and coached this team instead of J.B. Bickerstaff, and you asked him what's the DNA, the answer would be continuous through all three of the eras of Pistons basketball. Because there is a want to, there is a give a crap effort that all of them have. They all possess the same thing, and that is a commitment. A commitment to the other guy on the floor. I know, it sounds corny, but it's so true.
It is, and it's one of the hardest things. Like, that's why JB deserves a lot of credit, because especially with the way that series started against Orlando. Like, it's hard to keep people together, man, and keep playing like 100%. That when things go wrong like that. And it's really impressive that he's been able to keep them on the same course, because you're right, they go out there and they look like they want it, and that's something that'll keep you in any game, no matter what it feels like.
Can I add Trajan Langdon too? Because here's the easy thing to do, Andy. The easy thing to do is say, we need this. Let's go get a guy. We got to make sure he fits our culture, but let's go get a guy. He didn't do that. He did with Kevin Huerter. We get it. But overall, he kept this team together. And maybe it wasn't just because I want to see what this team possesses and what we'll eventually need. Doesn't mean it's a perfect team. They're going to need something in the offseason. There's no doubt about it. I still don't think this team could beat OKC. But the more you watch them play in this series, and when they play the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, you'll recognize it too. That says who? The way this team plays defense, the way they were committed to one another on the floor last night, and the way they have over the last 5 games, getting a message, getting an important reminder of who they are and what it takes for them to be who they are. I don't care how long it took to get the message, as long as they're still playing, right? Okay. I mean, are you really looking back going, that 3-1 series, being down 3-1 in the series, it still disappoints me. No, we all live and learn. If you don't, you will be left behind. This team lived it, they learned from it, and they've advanced. Now, they're not through Cleveland yet, but what they have done now is they have refound their identity on what gave them 60 wins during the season. Their commitment to one another, I know we hear about culture, we hear about togetherness and all that other stuff, and some of us roll our eyes at it. I don't, but some people do. This team seems like they are so well connected, and they do not panic.
I bet you if we were to ask our Mitch Lyons poll question from the other day again, with the sweep, the 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, I bet a lot of people will be on sweep this morning.
I thought the exact same.
I almost guarantee you that would win the vote.
Let's remind ourselves, when you get to this level into this series, it's not supposed to be, I won every game by 18. It's not supposed to be, I led wire to wire. Cleveland led twice in the game yesterday. This is a good Cleveland team. All right? So you're supposed to run away from them from the very beginning just because you're at home? I don't think so. That's not how I think. I think you knew Cleveland was going to make a push. You knew they were going to start making shots. You got to give some respect to the opposition. It's how you respond to when the other team gets closer.
Yeah, I mean, when Donovan Mitchell made that 3-pointer from wherever that he just kind of hucked up there. I don't know if you remember that off the backboard.
I do.
That's the kind of moment sometimes that can derail a whole game, and they didn't let that get to him. And they definitely gave him a push time and time again. I felt like you got some of Donovan Mitchell's best offense last night at times, honestly, and they still found a way to keep him down.
If this were a regular season game in January and you held a team to 18 points in the opening quarter, I could almost say, yeah, I think you will, depending on the team, I think you'll in all likelihood run away from that team a little bit. In the playoffs, no, I expect, some type of push. Detroit held them to the fewest points in a playoff first quarter in the play-by-play era in Detroit history, which is 97-98, okay? Just so you know. That wasn't the Isaiah Thomas era. That's impressive. I expected Cleveland to make some type of push, but then to see how Detroit responded tells you everything. I think they went on a 6-0 run. That's the beauty of what this team is delivering for you on a regular basis. You work your ass off every day. You work hard for your money, okay? It's not a song. Work hard for your money, and then you go and you pay it to these guys and that arena, hoping for the same thing. Those guys are you. They are delivering the type of effort you give to your bosses in your companies every single day. That's the biggest compliment you can give a team, and the Pistons have earned it. We're back after this.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew. Now, Josh oversees the West Michigan operations. Dorn Mayhew's worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. They are one of the top accounting, CPA, and business firms in the world. They continue to grow. They can help your business with any accounting, CPA, or business need you have. And also Dorn Mayhew and Josh and the West Michigan operation, they present Talking Hoops with John Beeline. We do it every Tuesday on the Huge Show through the NBA Finals. So how far will the Pistons go in the playoffs? You can hear Coach Beeline, Josh Garvey, and myself every Tuesday on the Huge Show as we talk hoops, presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew. Josh Garvey oversees the West Michigan operation. Their worldwide headquarters for Dorn Mayhew are in Troy, Michigan.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Motown Legends, TNT, together again. Temptation. Boy, Tops, Saturday night, May 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Tickets start at $55 and on sale now at the box office at etix.com. Saturday night, May 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Temps and Tops together again.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
It's amazing. I think, just coming back and being part of, the rival of this group with these guys, tremendous workers, great character players as well, and guys who just listen and want to be the best. And obviously, we got a taste of the playoffs last year, and been able to roll that into this season, and just to see the growth and the development of the entire group has been amazing to be a part of, and also just going out there and having fun, playing basketball and enjoying it every single day that I step in the building has been probably the greatest thing about being back here, and I'm extremely grateful and appreciative of it.
I don't know how you can't appreciate that, dude. That's Tobias Harris. He was fantastic again last night. Love everything about it, man. I mean, Cade Cunningham said some really good stuff about him after the game. When you ask Cunningham what Harris has meant to this team, he talks more frequently about what he does off the court than he does on the court, which tells you something. I know everyone's got the little nickname Unk. It's Uncle T. Okay, go ahead. That's fine. I'm sure he embraces it, but it's the impact he has on players that allow them to calm down. When young players are in a league and they're in moments for the first time ever, there are so many things going through their head. And in the off season or on off days, there's a lot of things that go through their head. Financial things, relationship things. Think about it. You can talk to your best buddies in the NBA or any league. Your best friends are not always right there with you every day. And sometimes you're away from them for a long time. This guy gives you that sounding board with sound advice. He is a great teammate.
Yeah, and to hear like someone, I'm sure that you've heard it plenty of times that I'm having fun again, or I'm like when it's a veteran player like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that quote does mean something though, because like he just he is like he came back here and he's playing with all these younger guys and he just seems to be loving his life and all that stuff right now. That's a good thing, man. When you're in that kind of mindset, that's what JB also kind of mentioned at one point. Was just about how he's come back here and played and like he knows himself, so he can play freely right now. That's not easy to do too either, and a bunch of people have said stuff about you in your past about not being good enough. So
don't kid yourself. He hears that.
Absolutely.
But what has he done, Andy? Are those people now willing to say, oops?
Yeah, no.
He proved me wrong. I hope
so.
they are, because Harris has dropped 20 points or more in 7 straight playoff games. That's tied for the longest streak of his career, regular season or playoffs. Even during the regular season, during his prime, 7 straight 20-point games. That's the most he's ever done. All right. He didn't score back-to-back 20-point games a single time this year. Not once this season has he gone back-to-back with 20 or more. And yet he's done it in 7 straight postseason games. You ask for players to elevate their game, somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to help Cade. Who's going to be, Shep? It's not going to be Tobias Harris. Oh, yes, it is. It has been Tobias Harris. I was mentioning James Harden. It makes you appreciate their veteran player is James Harden. He was a minus 15 last night. Can I put this in perspective? No other Cavs player who reached double digits was double digits in plus minus. No other Cavs player. James Harden was a minus 15. No other starter was worse than a minus 6. James Harden was a minus 15. Look at Tobias Harris's final line. I talk about the 21 points. How about the 7 rebounds? Only 1 turnover. He was a plus 8. Their vet's a minus 15. Our vet's a plus 8. Thank you very much.
I mean, if you just want to go eye test, just the big shots he was hitting again last night. It's just like every time they need something, he's got another one in him right now, which is like, I'm not going to sit here and act like, Tobias was somebody that I've always liked as a player. I was kind of mad when they got rid of him the first time. I think he gives you what he gives you every night, but I don't think anybody knew that he was going to do this either. Like this is crazy to see the output he's putting out like offensively every single night.
I don't know if you watched any of the pre or post game on Prime. They've got Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Blake Griffin, and Udonis Haslem. And I actually, they bring up some really interesting points. It's always amazed me that television needs that many analysts. I don't think you do. 4 different analysts. How many different things can each one of them say? But they were fine. Don't get me wrong. Haslam said this last night. He said, there are 5 guys. It's a really good point. There are 5 guys who have been in the NBA that have gone to the playoffs 17 consecutive times. Let that resonate for a minute. 17 consecutive times. There are only 5 guys who have done that. Stockton, Malone, Jason Kidd, Tony Parker, and James Harden. That's a little eye-raising, right? Eyebrow-raising. Stockton, Malone, Jason Kidd, Tony Parker, James Harden. Then he said, why the hell are you turning the ball over so much? You've been in the playoffs. You know what it's like to be in the playoffs. Why are you turning it over? These are self-inflicted wounds. One-handed passes, things that would take my son out of a game if I was coaching him for throwing passes like that. Why are you having these kinds of passes in the second round of the playoffs? I don't understand it. I think he's referring to the one where he threw almost down the entire length of the floor to Evan Mobley, who was guarded. Joe Montana couldn't have made that pass. That's how closely he was guarded. It was Darrell Revis. It was Darryl Green. It was Charles Woodson. It was Deion Sanders like coverage. And James Harden goes, here's what I'm going to do. Ugh. Grenade. Turnover, Cleveland. Back down the other way. And Mason says, Detroit basketball. Back down the floor. Or whatever he says.
He was using the Detroit basketball thing quite like towards the end of the game. He was relishing in it for sure. You could tell it's been a minute for him. He really wanted to get those in, no doubt.
He should get him.
Absolutely. That guy has not lost a step, in my opinion.
Not a step.
He's phenomenal.
If anything, he's getting stronger, for crying out loud. Freddie always helps us out in the morning, and so does Bob on the chat on YouTube. Bob says, what does the Cleveland podcaster say about the Detroit-Cleveland series? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I recognized some of that last night. They're disgusted with the way their team is playing. They're talking about they're not using the word soft, but how much more physical Detroit is. And here's the other thing. They complained about the free throws. Remember, Donovan Mitchell says, I'm going to have to start flopping. But a friend of mine got in trouble and all this other stuff. They went to the line more often than Detroit did. They got there 27 times. You can't blame it on that. The difference is Detroit's defense. That is the difference in this game. At halftime, Cleveland had 9 turns. They ended up with 11. That's pretty good. But Detroit is forcing them into rushed shots, into poor shot selection, and into challenging situations on a regular basis. Freddie says this. I love how JB lit up Duran, not the player, but the moment, and say him because he wasn't getting it done. Absolutely. It's one of the best parts when they mic up coaches. I think sometimes we in the media and broadcast have a tendency to infringe on their space. But this is what it's about. When you hear J.B. Bickerstaff say, there's no way in hell Donovan Mitchell should be getting that rebound instead of you, and he was looking at Jalen Duren. He's right, 100%. And Freddie's right, 100%. Love to see that in a coach. Make that move. Don't stand pat. Amen. What we call a retread coach has learned from previous jobs. Sure. Happens quite a bit. I've always found retread, the term retread, funny, because if you never wanted a retread, then Bill Belichick never would have gotten a job in New England because he was in Cleveland. If you never wanted a retread, you would have never had Joe Torre manage the New York Yankees because he had managed in other places. If you never wanted a retread, you wouldn't have had Terry Francona in Cleveland, because he wasn't very good in Philadelphia. I'm sure Cincinnati's really happy with him right now. And you should be, because he's a Hall of Fame manager. If you never wanted a retread, you wouldn't have gotten Jim Leyland. If you never wanted a retread, you wouldn't have gotten guys like Dick Vermeil that given the Rams a Super Bowl win. Our phone number on the Meijer hotline, 866-838-4843. That's a really good text from Freddie, as usual. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Meijer.
Huge here for all the Buffalo Wild Wings in Michigan. Now the Carmody brothers wanted me to remind everybody that you can watch every Tigers game at your local Buffalo Wild Wings. From Tigers weekday afternoon games to night games to weekend games, get the friends, family together, those you work with, and hang out at your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Carmody brothers love the Tigers, and they love when people stop out to the Buffalo Wild Wings in Michigan all season long to watch Tigers baseball.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
I mean, it allows us to do so many different things and coach in such a way, right? If your best player is willing to lay it on the line on the defensive end of the floor, everybody's held to a high standard, to the same standard that he is. So, it allows us to coach, the guys hard, but it allows us to do so many different things because of the way we can match up all over the floor with the versatility that we have and the guys' willingness to defend.
Amen. That's J.B. Bickerstaff talking about Cade Cunningham. I love that because, and I'm guilty of it too, immediately we go, 25 and 10. I mean, look at what he's doing offensively. Defensively. He said, J.B. Bickerstaff says he's not a one-dimensional or one-way player. I think he's one of the top 10 two-way players in our league. Look at his steals. The moments where he gets big blocks for us, he runs from nothing. He's done it all year from us or for us. 100%. He has taken James Harden, Donovan Mitchell off their games.
That block he made towards the end of the game there in the corner. I mean, not a lot of other stars are doing that. That play was special, man. Like towards the end of the game.
He's a special player.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Obviously,
I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it's just that, especially in these postseason moments, that has highlighted and heightened perhaps our appreciation for him. I want you to think about this for a second. You think Evan Mobley's a good player? I do.
Yeah, he's great.
Like, would you want him on your team? I would. 18 points, 9 rebounds. That's what he averaged in the regular season. Andy, he averaged 18 points and 9 rebounds. That's damn good. He had 1 rebound.
Yep, 1 rebound. Yep. I saw the Dennis Schroeder had 3, I think, and he's got what? How many inches on him?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a tough look for him last night for sure.
Yeah. Look, Donovan Mitchell that we've brought up, and I've brought it up for years because I think he should have been a Piston. Stan Van Gundy's an idiot for not drafting him because he had the best workout. And I had friends who were at the workout, and they told me it's the best workout they've ever seen.
I had somebody bring that up to me last night watching the game, and I was like, don't remind us. That's
and Stan Van Gundy said, "Nah, I'm good. Don't worry about it. don't no big deal. I'd rather have Luke Kennard, who's been pretty good for the Lakers. But anyway, he had 31 points. Everyone's like, wow, that's 31 points, folks. I mean, he took 24 shots. This team, this Cleveland team, cannot physically meet the Pistons. They can't. We'll use a cliche. They can't bang with the Pistons, at least in the first 2 games. They have to completely change who they are the rest of this series in order for them to win this series. They have to win 4 of the next 5 games.
And
you think that's happening?
No, it's not. That's what was frustrating about the first series, I think, so much too, because that is the Pistons' identity, right? Like that's how they play, and they didn't bring the energy against Orlando at a lot of times to start that series and stuff like that. Feels like from the jump to the finish in these first 2 games, they've looked like the team that they looked like all regular season, which is completely different than how they started out last series. And I don't think anybody thought coming in that series that Orlando was more physical than Detroit. Maybe their style is more like that, but I think you're right, because that's just not how Cleveland really plays. They don't have that kind of style in them. They would have to completely change and be a different team to match that, feels like.
Right on. If you're looking for that additional guy, look, if we were saying we want the Robin, that was the phrase, because Cade's the Batman. Cleveland's Batman is Donovan Mitchell, right? You want the Robin. You're worried about Cleveland's depth. I get all this, okay? If you're looking for the Robin, Tobias Harris. We know how good he's been, 7 straight playoff games where he scored 20 or more. How about Duncan Robinson? I had a friend tell me 2 weeks ago, I didn't want him when they signed him. He's not good. Really? He's not good? He does provide them. I'm not saying he's an all-star. I'm not saying he's a superstar. No one's going to make you forget Steph Curry with Duncan Robinson. But look, the dude hits a lot of threes, and your team lacks a shooter like that. Don't tell me he's not any good, and don't tell me he's not important. He is important.
And the confidence is growing for him too. It feels like right now, like
for sure. But although he's been in playoffs before,
yeah.
But here's the difference. He's averaging 18. Harden's averaging 16. He's shooting 54%. Harden's shooting 32%. Robinson is shooting 59% from three. Harden is shooting 9% from three. If you're looking for, I'm not saying he's the secondary scorer, but if you're looking for the third option, all right, because we know Jalen Duren isn't providing that. He's getting on the glass. That's doing a good job, especially in the offensive glass. You got to give him a little bit of love for that. And he had 15 and 15 in game one. Didn't reach the double-double status yesterday, but you're looking for the other score, and you need the balance, and you need someone to keep them true. Duncan Robinson is providing that through the first two games. I'm not getting carried away, but he's been really good. You don't think Cleveland needs that type of shooting? Absolutely. When Duncan Robinson made that, what was that one, about 9 minutes or so to go in the third, it was a deep three. I mean, it was unbelievable how far away he was. And I didn't, it's not like he was set. He just grabbed it and chucked it. Like here, it's a heat check moment. And it dropped. You're like, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with gaining confidence. That's the exact shot I was thinking about. Like, it just feels like he's getting to that point in the series. And the broadcasters kept bringing, you mentioned Cleveland. Yeah, they would definitely take it. They were 0 for 8, 0 for 9 in the fourth quarter. Like, they just couldn't make anything from deep. So,
do you think? And we got a text on this. It's a good one. Do you think the NBA, quote unquote, wants a team like Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals? Some people have a problem with it because of the image problem. The commissioner has admitted to it. If Detroit in the finals, fans get to see their team that hustles every single minute, every single game. Do you think the league? I truly believe this. Every league, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're running a league or you're part of a league, whatever. There's a certain part of you that wants a certain team in the finals, so you get the biggest revenue, the biggest attention, all that other stuff. I'm not a big believer in the market stuff. I think there are people who do believe that. I care about. I look at more the team style and how fans would gravitate toward that style.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a couple of friends that they don't like the style of the NBA a lot during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with the way that the Pistons play defense right now, it's even got them turning on the TV and watching because, it's especially in the playoffs when teams are giving it their all against them. I think that's what people want to see. I mean, maybe that's just something here in Michigan. I don't know, but I feel like what you're saying, I think people would enjoy watching this brand of the basketball that the Pistons play.
I think so too, because it's about hustle. It's not just
how
about,
can you
okay,
not
I'm going to let you
that?
come into the lane. I'm going to block your shot. It's not about, I'm just going to take every expected charge. They go out and guard you at half court. I think it's a beautiful style of basketball. Now, there was a stretch there where it sure didn't leave a very good taste in my mouth on how many misses both teams had in a row. But this is not the usual situation for them. I think they play a strong brand of basketball that a lot of moms and dads would teach their kids to play. Okay. And we get people. Bob again says in the chat, Detroit grit. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess OKC would say the same thing, wouldn't they, Bob? I mean, they've got a grit to them. We don't like them because we think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a flopper. I don't think you're wrong there, but they are an excellent defensive team. So yeah, I think the league's no league's ever going to come out and say, I want the Yankees and the Dodgers to play. I want the Red Sox and the Yankees and the ALCS. You're not going to do that. But deep down inside, there's probably a part of them that's like, this is good for us, right? Minnesota playing in the NBA Finals is not great unless you think Anthony Edwards as a star is helpful, right? Detroit with Cade Cunningham, with the type of style that they play, the toughness that embodies the city, the energy from that building, the amount of ex-NBA players who have spoken glowingly about this team and how they play and their want to and their effort. It's everything that people who complain about the NBA during the regular season is not. Oh, my guys don't try. They get too much rest. That is not Detroit, and that's the beauty of it. When we come back, a discussion with a good friend of ours, John Paul Morosi. He joins us on the other side.
Saturday night, May 23rd.
Carry on my
Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort welcomes multi-platinum legends, Kansas. Tickets start at $60 and are on sale now at the box office or etix.com. Don't miss the best of classic rock. Kansas returns to Soaring Eagle Saturday, May 23rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
How would you like to watch the Pistons in the playoffs on the biggest TV in Michigan? Well, you can get a huge deal and also get the biggest TV at your local ABC Warehouse store. You can shop online right now at abcwarehouse.com. They have locations all across Michigan. So if you want to watch the Pistons in the playoffs on the biggest TV in your neighborhood, go to your local ABC Warehouse store or shop online at abcwarehouse.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
12:35 after the hour on this Friday. Welcome. Hope you got a big weekend planned. I hope you're ready to go out there, have some fun, but make a difference. A friend of mine is doing just that, John Paul Morosi. I don't think there's a better person to give us inside information on baseball, but it's tough to beat him as a dad as well. John Paul Morosi joins us here on X's and Bros. How are you, my friend? How are the ladies in your life?
Shep, good morning. They're all doing great. Thank you
Good.
so much for the invitation to be on the show. And from one dad to another, you're the greatest, my friend. So we just wanted to check in with you, see how you're doing, and your family as well. But we're all doing well. Lots of sports going on for the kids. They're growing up too fast, as you know, kids often do. And lots of track meets and soccer games and field hockey games. So very blessed, and thanks for the example that you've always set to me as being a great dad. So really,
I appreciate that, brother, and I'm glad you're able to enjoy that. I want to talk some baseball with you, but I think the reason I wanted to have you on is more because of what you're doing this weekend in Ann Arbor. There's a little bit of an epidemic, I think, in our society these days, and you're trying to help the cause. Can you explain what you're doing and the troublesome situation that you and your friends of yours, I should say, have found themselves in, and friends of mine have found themselves in as well?
Right. Thank you, Shep, for the opportunity to talk about it. So tomorrow at the Pretzel Bell in Ann Arbor. So if you've been to town, you're certainly familiar with where that is, right at the heart of Main Street there in Ann Arbor at the Pretzel Bell. 4 until 6:30 tomorrow is the Mullets for Miles fundraiser for the Miles Jeffrey Roberts Foundation. And tragically, my friends Jeff and Kristen Roberts lost their son Miles. They died by suicide in May of 2017 at the age of 15. And so this is an issue that, to your point, Shep, youth mental health and youth suicide is a cause that is really becoming something that's a concern for, and has been a concern for our society for a very, very long time. And I cannot find the words to share, Shep, how proud I am of my friends Jeff and Kristen for the way that they have so courageously responded to the most devastating news that any parents could ever have, to try to make a difference. And so the Miles Jeffrey Roberts Foundation, what the foundation does is it puts mental health champions, therapists and mental health professionals into schools, and it started here in Ann Arbor because that's where Jeff and Kristen live. That's where Miles was going to high school here at Skyline High School. And so Skyline and Pioneer now have the program, and they're hoping to add Huron and other area schools too, of having therapists and mental health professionals talking with specifically sports teams as a nice first point of entry, because in sports, you look at two different things. Number one, at our best in sports, we have the ability to check in on our teammates. We're already set to think about things in the context of a team. How's my team doing? How's my teammate doing today? I'm around this person every day, and now they seem down. What's going on that we can address? And it's that part of it that the team is set up to be a unit where you can look after each other and really understand each other's emotional and mental weather every day, because you're around them so much. That's number one. Number two is a lot of young people are under pressure, and a lot of athletes that seem to be on the surface high achieving and doing great and having success, they have anxiety. They have depression. They feel the weight of performing for themselves and being judged on social media, which far too many young people feel that pressure now too. And so it's both a unit of our society that is well situated to take care of each other, but also one that is under a lot of pressure. And so it's a matter of, by having these therapists and mental health professionals, Will Heininger is one of them. Michigan fans may know, a former football player at U of M, who has been very open and very courageous about his own battles with depression. He's now a therapist and a social worker, does a great job of mentoring young people through this. It just gives young people the tools and the words. And that's one of the things I really appreciate most about this program, is that it gives young people the words to be able to describe what's going on, the words to ask for help, the awareness to know when either ourselves or someone else around us is going through a difficult time. It's a health-related thing. It is a medical thing that we're experiencing, or that our friends are experiencing, and there are ways that we can be helped, and there are ways that we can find help for others. And it's just a matter of giving people the tools and the words, and that's really what it comes down to, and why the foundation is so great. They're giving kids the very empowering tools and words to help lift themselves out of a difficult time, or to recognize in a teammate when they're going through it. And so the Miles Jeffrey Roberts Foundation, Mullets for Miles, the website is mjrfoundation.org. I have it also pinned at the top of my social media at John Morosi on X. And so the fundraising element is that people have grown mullets that are being graded and rated. I guess it's the one thing, Shep, that I feel very comfortable having be rated for young people online would be their mullet, the quality of their mullet for this cause. I will be supporting the cause. You know, Shep, we've been friends for a long time. You could probably, you can tease me on air, off air. You know, I'm not really capable of growing a mullet myself,
I don't think
but I will
so.
be there supporting the cause, Shep. But you could. You got much better head of hair than me. But it'll be a great cause tomorrow, Pretzel Bell, downtown Ann Arbor, 4 to 6:30 p.m.
My heart breaks for Jeff and Kristen. I don't know them, but if they're friends of yours, they have to be good people. Please tell them that our prayers are with them. I have an event tomorrow in Lansing. I will try to make it, but it's going to be challenging. You and I grew up at a different era. We didn't necessarily experience this. Why do you think it's so prevalent now?
So many, I think so many reasons, Shep. I think that a couple things. Obviously, social media and the disconnectedness of a lot of young people is I think a huge reason why. Those two things are related. But I think that the way that kids are living, and it's hard for us as parents. And my youngest is in 2nd grade now. My oldest is in 7th grade, so it's kind of right in the middle of a lot of these conversations. I think it's harder for them to navigate the pressures of their young lives than ever before, because one post on Instagram, one uncomfortable situation at school. It used to be that for all of us growing up at a certain time, your buddies would tease you about it for 2 minutes, then it'd be forgotten about and move on to the next thing. But now social media is there forever, and I just think that we're giving kids, and there's been so much work and a lot of writing on this, especially in the last couple of years. The Anxious Generation is one example. The book that I think has become something we've talked about a lot. But the phones and social media gives the world a path into your brain and your thoughts. It's just an open pathway to let you know however they feel about it. You might be feeling good one day, and then all of a sudden one comment on one post on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, whatever it is, that says they don't like the way you look or your outfit or makes fun of you in some way, and it takes you right down into a very, very dark place. One response from someone that you might not even know, and
kids going to parties who you thought were your friends, and you weren't invited to that party, and suddenly you feel like, why am I not worthy?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that experience. So and again, it's one of those things where as parents, we try to share the wisdom that, listen, it's one party, it's one night, it's one post on social media, whatever it is, it will pass. But it's the 15-year-old mind, the 16-year-old mind can't see past the screen in front of them, and it can send them into a spiral. That's just one example of it. And so there's a lot of different, I think, pressures and reasons for it, and whether you are ostensibly someone that has it all together, or someone that might be struggling and has been struggling for a long time, the struggle is there and present for everyone. And the only way that it gets better is by giving people resources, and also giving them structure about ways of organizing their lives that give their brains the best chance to develop. And
100%. But
it's
I would say this: it's not just kids. I mean, it's happening in kids, unfortunately, and unfortunately, Jeff and Kristen know that firsthand. I know that firsthand with friends of mine, deep-rooted friends of mine. I can't tell you how many friends I have who've lost children. It's painful. Okay. And you got to reach out to them. And I would say that to anybody, please reach out to them and just say, I'm thinking of you. That's okay. but it's adults too who are ignorant to all this too, because they get you covered Jaron Duran for the Boston Red Sox. You talk about courage. He came out, right, and said, I've had some problems in the past. And he gets reminded of it sometimes at a baseball game.
Right.
It's not just kids who are bullying others on social media that create this mindset. It's adults doing it because they've had one too many beers and their team is down a run.
That's right. And Shep, you're exactly right. That's I try to look at it like we all need to be good neighbors and good citizens where we are, and ideally we're reaching out and engaging in different communities and finding ways outside of our own social worlds to reach out and to check in on people even that we don't know. But we can also start by just where we're at, and if you're a fan at a game, one of the best things you can do is cheer positively for your own team. Having a ticket does not give you license to demean the mental health of the people on the other team or the manager of the other team or the coach of the other team. There's a fine line between what it is to be a good fan and a supportive fan and one that is crossing the line. And the same thing is true on social media. Just because a player on the other team or even your own team has a social media account, it does not give you license to step in there and mention them and then offer the worst kinds of insults and you should do X and Y and Z. It's not appropriate. And we can all do this by we can all change this by just being intentional about our own citizenship. And that to me is a word that matters a lot, whether it's in sports or anything else. Citizenship is crucial. And I think if we think about our own worlds and how we're interacting with people, the way that we're talking about those around us, take the opportunity to uplift, and then let's amplify that as opposed to the hot takes and the negativity that can bring people down. It's in some ways all the same. being hypercritical of other people, whether it's an athlete in a uniform in the NBA or Major League Baseball, or even the young people around us. We have to think about the meaning of our words and what we're doing and what we're saying, because we have a chance to shape the emotional environments of those around us. What an amazing power, and one that we should regard with great sensitivity and care, because we can help improve the mental health of those around us, and we have to make sure that we're using that power for good and not for ill.
Yeah, without question. Mullets for Miles. It's taking place tomorrow in Ann Arbor at the Pretzel Bill from 4 to 6. Help a worthy cause, because you know somebody who's dealing with this. You may not know it publicly, but deep down inside, somebody is dealing with it. It's a wonderful way, unfortunately, in a heartbreaking sense of trying to create more awareness toward this. Before I let you go, I do have to ask you just one question about baseball, even though the primary reason I wanted you on is because of that, because I think it's really important.
I appreciate it, Jeff.
And again,
thank you.
all the best to Jeff and Kristen, your friends. My heart bleeds for them. What's your level of concern with the Tigers, A, and B, the number of pitchers, not just Skubal, but the number of pitchers who are dealing with these arm issues? It seems like it is rampant in the league you cover so well.
Right. So first and foremost, yes, on the Tiger side of things, there is some concern, and I suppose the best news, and John Heyman was reporting on this yesterday. It seems as though the surgery was indeed relatively minor, and that the recovery should be quick by the standards of this particular procedure, to the point that having Skubal back even before the All-Star break is a potential win for the Tigers, which would be massive. So if he's out until around the All-Star break, thereabouts, I think that's a really good outcome for this. Obviously, the timing, though, is still difficult, because you've got Mize on the IL and Verlander is still on the IL, and Fromber obviously is suspended for the next little while. And so they're down. I mean, in terms of the pitching, that they've had to scramble a bit, and it's all happening at the exact wrong time. The one positive salvation for them, I would say, Shep, is that they're in a division where if you're 500, you're at the top, and you're in the thick of it. So they just have to try to keep treading water, perhaps until Scooble comes back, and then maybe they take off in the second half.
Yeah, but their defense isn't very good, JP. Their defense is really bad. I've worried about their defense.
But you're right, and that is one of the things that I have noticed with this team is that if you look at some of the metrics too, not just what your eyes are telling you, outfield defense has been a concern. They've had a lot of personnel injured, so they've got guys like Meadows and Baez who are and McKinstry who are really good defensive players who've been hurt. And so then you look around and they're actually one of the worst defensive teams in the game. And that is the exact opposite, Matt, of what for a long time AJ Hinch's teams have done. So it's a concern. Their defense goes hand in glove with pitching, and really neither one of those components is humming along for the Tigers. So it's going to be a struggle day to day for them to stay in this thing at least until Scooble gets back.
It's a reason the Cubs are so good right now. So you're 100% right. Listen, I'm going to let you go. I would remind people too that it's not just baseball that you're really good at. You really do a nice job covering hockey too, and we've got some really good NHL playoffs. Maybe we can talk about sometime down the road. Please give our best to Jeff and Kristen. A reminder to people: Mullets for Miles, 4 to 6 tomorrow. It's not a heavy lift for you folks out there to get to Ann Arbor, okay, at the Pretzel Bell, and do something that can help people down the road and help people immediately as well. You'll feel good about it because it's the right thing to do. JP Morosi helping their cause and helping our cause here on X's and Bros. Have a great weekend, my friend. Keep being the best human being we know, and all the best to your lovely ladies that are just the light in your life, and for good reason. All the best.
They are, Shep. Thank you so much for the kind words, and really appreciate your friendship and your mentorship over the years. All the love to you and your family as well, Shep. Thanks for the invitation to be on the show, and just really appreciate your heart and all that you bring to Detroit sports. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. All the best. That's John Paul Morosi joining us here on X's and Bros, and a very important message for all of us as parents and a lot of kids out there. All right. I would strongly suggest you get off social media. That's really hard to do. And for kids, you feel like you're not cool if you do. It can be poisonous. And I would strongly recommend to parents, not that I'm the greatest parent in the world, I would strongly recommend wait as long as you can to give your kid a phone or access to the social media. They're going to be just fine if they're not on it. Okay? All right, when we come back, let's shift gears a little bit. We'll talk a little football. We always keep it open for you. We keep the chat room open for you on X, on Facebook, and, of course, on YouTube. The phone line is always open for you, the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843, and our text line, Sports Radio 21,000. Final hour on a Friday is upcoming here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right. Absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.tv. That's MHSAA.tv. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
If you're the largest selling comedy recording artist in history,
you might be a redneck.
Jeff Foxworthy, Friday, June 12th, inside the Soaring Eagle Entertainment Hall.
Our parents can't text, and our children can't write.
Tickets start at $60 and are on sale now at the box office and online at etix.com. Laugh it up at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, Friday, June 12th with Jeff Foxworthy.
My father-in-law got his chest hair caught in his zipper.
SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
confidence. And there's no insecurity in who he is. And when you don't have those insecurities, in the moment, you can play free and you trust the work that you've put in because you know how much time you put in over the years to do what you do. And trusting he's got a spot, he knows his game, right? There's so many guys that think dribble is a game, right? And Tobias knows he's going to get you in the post. He might back you down, he might face you up, but he's going to get to the same spot and raise up and knock it down.
JB Bickerstaff, I know he loves talking about Tobias Harris.
I was just gonna say that, like, you can literally tell by his voice, like he likes that guy.
You know what part of the reason is? I firmly believe this. Part of the reason is because he has stood by Harris. He's believed in Harris for a long time, and there are so many people who are behind a microphone, not me, but like me, behind a microphone, going, "He's not that good. What's he ever done? He's too old. He doesn't do anything one thing great." We've said this all year long. This is not hyperbole. This is not hyperbolic. This is not living in a moment. This is something we said at the beginning of the year on why Tobias Harris is a good fit for this team. We said it a year ago because he is a post-up shooter. He can post you up and hit a turnaround jumper. He's not flashy. There's no way some kid in Metro Detroit or in Grand Rapids, in Rockford, is looking up while with his hands behind his head, looking at his posters, and there's Tobias Harris stuffing it in Donovan Mitchell's face. That's not happening. But you know what he is? He's a good, steady basketball player. He's not a Robin Shep. That's okay. Not everybody can be. He's a good basketball player, and he fits this team well. He works hard on defense. He'll take the shots that are most comfortable for him. Rarely do you see him take an out of control or a quote unquote bad shot. Doesn't mean he's going to make them all the time, but he is a smart player who plays within a system and is a team player. Those are important. It really is. Now, I'm not going to lie. I got this from a Cleveland. The reason I bring this up is because of what Bob said during the chat. And he said, what about the Cleveland podcasters? I did listen to one. He said this, and it's a great point. And I'd love to give him credit. I was looking for him the other day. It's from the guy who covers Cleveland sports for ESPN 850. So my apologies. I don't know his name, but I do want to give him credit. He said this. Cleveland scored 8 points in the last 5 minutes of game 1. They scored 8 points in the last 5 minutes in game 2. He said in the first quarter of game 2, they were down 7. And in the first quarter of game 1, they were down 16. Put that together, obviously, you're down 23 through 2 first quarters. That is a tough uphill climb. Doesn't mean it's impossible. I mean, what you conveniently forget here is that Cleveland actually took the lead in game 2, despite being down as much as they were. But it's a good point. You're out of the gate. Kenny Atkinson, who is the coach of the year last year, seemingly, if you want to blame the coach, doesn't have his team ready to play. Mitch Lyons, poll question of the day. We have one for you every single day. Today we ask you this. Who has been better in this series than you thought? Harris, Robinson, or Jenkins? There's no wrong answer. Vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. Andy has tweeted it out. I have retweeted it as well. So always here for you for topics that you find important. We've talked Pistons all morning long. Talked a little bit of baseball with John Paul Morosi, who's as good a guy as you can get. Don't you think, Andy? I mean, as good a human being as you can possibly get.
He's awesome, and all you got to do is know about the cause that he's doing this weekend to know he is a good person, for sure.
Amen to that. Right on. I'm going to do whatever I can to get there. Now, we had talked briefly just about, because I wanted him on because of that issue. Here's what happens in sports radio, happens in news. People will be part of a mission like this, an initiative, and people will get them on to talk about the thing they're an expert at and then just dabble in the cause. So in other words, bring him on. Let's talk baseball first, and then we'll give you just a quick mention about the cause. I did it the other way around. I'm not patting myself on the back. I did it the other way around because of the admiration I have for him, first and foremost, and because of the cause. I think it's really important. It's concerning to me. It should be concerning to all of us on what is happening in our country, maybe in the world, with all these kids committing suicide at the age of 15. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, if you're a parent, you can totally relate to this. There's nothing more precious in your life than a child. So for his friends to lose their child so early in life and then have the strength, okay, Jeff and Kristen, to have the strength for their son to make sure that nobody else or as few people as possible will go through it again is really important. I have way too many friends who've lost children. I have people in my family who've lost children at an early age. And it's painful and it never goes away. You're never the same. So if you can, 4 to 6, the Pretzel Bell in Ann Arbor, Mullets for Miles. It's a great cause. So, but we did touch on the Tigers a little bit. And I took some heat yesterday on social media, ironically enough. Fine. Some people called me, well, you're bitter because you got fired by the Tigers. I am not bitter. Okay. Full transparency, maybe a little bit to start, but I'm not bitter. I'm over it. All right. I've moved on. I miss calling games, not necessarily Tiger games, but games in general, because I think I'm a good play-by-play guy. But this is fun for me too. I like working with Andy. I like working and hearing from you. I love getting texts from you and involvement on the chat and so on and so forth. Just because you say something negative about a team doesn't mean you don't love that team. You're not taking away my love for that or the Old English D and the players who played before and the players who I like now. Every year before the season begins, I text players and I text AJ Hinch, good luck. That's not from a person who's bitter. That's from a person who still wants them to do well, as I do. But that doesn't mean I'm going to ignore their discrepancies in their ability. It's not a good defensive team. And John Paul Morosi just said the same thing. In addition to that, there are some troubling signs and statistics. Here's another one. The Tigers have 3 hitters in the top 10% of chase rate in the league. Spencer Torkelson, 16.5% chase. Gleyber Torres, 17% chase. Kevin McGonigal, 18% chase. They rank respectively 5th, 6th, and 9th. Here's the difference with McGonigal. Of all the hitters in the top 10, McGonigal's the only one who swings at pitches in the zone over 60% of the time while having a connect rate of 90%. In other words, his swing decisions are correct.
And he's a rookie.
I mean, I mentioned this yesterday. Again, people, hating, so on and so forth. No, McGonigal's 3 for his last 23. His on-base percentage in May is 182. I'm stating facts. I am not suggesting that he's overhyped, that he's not what everybody thinks he is. No, I think he is. I think he's legit. I love him. He's one of those guys, you're going to the fridge to grab something to snack on, and he's up to the plate, and you're going to go, hold on a second. My stomach's growling, but I can wait. I'm going to watch this at bat. That's the kind of guy. He is. This is a compliment. He's a dirtball. I love that about him. He's the Wally Backman, of the Mets and the Phillies. He's the Pete Rose of the Reds and the Expos and the Phillies. He's the grinded out type of player you'd love to have. He's Bryce Harper without the power. Tough dude. Hat goes flying. Doing the little things. Grinding out at bats. Love that about him. But there are concerns. And if you can't see the concerns and you think people are hating just because you bring up those concerns for a team that's under 500, then you are misguided. We're back with more after this. We're brought to you this hour by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. And it's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. These next few weeks may turn out to be the most critical of the 2026 season. The loss of Tarek Skubal is a gut punch, but the Tigers have the pieces to win without him if they can get everybody healthy. Justin Verlander, Troy Melton, and Casey Mize could all be back in the rotation by the end of the month. The question is, how are they going to handle the 20 games or so between now and then? Right now it's Montero, Flaherty, and Valdez, and then it sure seems like we're going to see a return to pitching chaos for the other 2 days. Ty Madden will be a big piece, likely used with an opener. I pictured the other day as a bullpen day, with Brant Herter getting the bulk of the innings. Pitching chaos is actually a well-thought-out strategy that worked incredibly well down the stretch 2 years ago. Now it's critical for the Tigers that it works again early in 2026.
Motown Legends, TNT, together again. Temptations. Boy, Tops, Saturday night, May 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Tickets start at $55 and on sale now at the box office and etix.com. Saturday night, May 9th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Temps and Tops, together again.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
You ever see the freezing cold takes? It's so funny, man. The freezing cold takes. That's great. Somebody put one out the other day. It was fantastic. Somebody put one out the other day about the debate before. This is before now. Before the draft of 2021. The debate between Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham. Which player do you take? This was from an account, an NBA account or an NBA scout, somebody who has some NBA street cred. Yes, Cade Cunningham is the people's choice, a do-it-all wing who could probably lead the Pistons to the playoffs in a couple of years. But Jalen Green has the higher ceiling. He's a player who can be MVP and dominate in the playoffs like Donovan Mitchell. If you draft for fit, then go Cunningham, who might morph into Chris Middleton, which is a very good thing. Green is already a better shot creator than Anthony Edwards, who went to Minnesota at number 1 and averaged 19 points per game as a rookie. Jalen Green went, obviously Cade Cunningham went number 1. Jalen Green went number 2 to Houston. Jalen Green played 4 years in Houston, which is, and did fine. He averaged 20 points per game, shot only 42%. He played in Phoenix this past year, only 32 games, and averaged 18 points per game. Who do you think made the right choice there? Love those freezing cold takes.
Yeah, for sure.
You just, a lot of times, you just don't know. Somebody had asked during the chat the other day, whether, or earlier today, about Cleveland. If you follow any of the Cleveland folks, somebody asked on a radio station there in Cleveland, is the series over? How about play more quarters like you did in the third quarter? Stop turning the ball over. Can they shoot that bad from 3 again? Yes, they can, because of Detroit's defense. So, yes, they can. Mike in the chat. Same fans don't want that the Tigers are an 85-90 win team, but want the 98 Yankees. Some fans don't want that the Tigers are 85-90, but want the 98 Yankees. I'm not sure what he means by that. My guess is 85-90 wins. He's saying most fans don't think they're 85-90 wins. Look, here's what I asked before the season began, Mike. I asked, how many wins will it take to own the division? 88, 92, what is it? I thought Detroit was a high 80s win team when healthy. And I thought it would be good enough to win the division. Let me preface that, though, by saying I thought they should have won the division last year and the year before. Those were my expectations. I thought they were, talent-wise, they had the best team in the division the last 2 years. They have not won that division in the last 2 years. Now they've made the playoffs, which is good. They won a playoff series 2 years ago against Houston, and they won a playoff series last year against Cleveland. That's fine, I guess. This all comes down to expectations. Again, not being bitter. My expectations are higher than some people, and I think it's justified. When you have the best pitcher on the planet, when you have the best manager in the league, and I do believe outside of Kevin Cash, maybe AJ Hinch. I know you'll say Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is a really good manager too. But I would say I think AJ Hinch is the best manager in the American League. I think they have the best pitcher on the planet. You could make a debate for Paul Skeens. I'd listen to that. All right. I think they have a very good left fielder. I've given you the numbers for Riley Green, and I think defensively he's fine. And they have a Rookie of the Year candidate. Now, I didn't know that before my expectations. But when you add Framber Valdez and you've got a good mix of young players and young pros and veterans, I think they are better than most of the teams, if not all the teams in the division. I didn't think they were the best team in the American League. I thought New York was better. I thought Toronto was better. They haven't been. I thought Seattle was better. They haven't been. I also thought Baltimore would be kind of a scary team as well. Now, there's a long way to go, but as of right now, I'm being honest with you. It's not like I'm right on all those prognostications and predictions. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that your team should be better. The Yankees are not just because of their record right now, and they're 26-12. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're a plus 81 on run differential. They're the best team, I would argue, in baseball right now. Atlanta's pretty damn good, and Detroit saw that firsthand. I'm not saying the Tigers can't get back to where we expect them to be. I think they will. I do. I think they will eventually challenge for the division. Because I don't think Cleveland's that good. And I don't think Kansas City's that good. I think Kansas City's got the best player in the division, but I don't think they're the best team in the division. You can blame injuries if you want. I'm just want to make sure you're going to use that excuse for everybody. Because you didn't use it for the Lions. At least you haven't in the past. That I can tell. Isn't one of the things we love most about this Pistons team is they lost some guys, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, at times during the season, and they still got things done.
No, the Tigers talk a lot about the depth in the organization. I mean, this is where it's going to get tested. I mean, you gotta
amen to that.
You gotta win some games this month either way, man. That's what it's all about when you take pride in building through your organization. Which I'm with you there. I still think they can win the division. I don't think it's all over like people are panicking, about. But it's definitely at a tough point right now, and they're going to be tested.
Without a doubt, there's so much time that they can make up for it, right? Casey, here's the beauty of it. Can we try to look at it from a positive standpoint? At some point, Casey Mize is coming back. At some point, Justin Verlander is coming back. Later this year, I don't know if it'll be too late, but later this year, you're going to see Troy Melton come back. Those are all positive things, don't you think? Yes. Gleyber Torres is going to come back. Javier Baez is going to come back. All those key parts, and Tarek Skubal, by all accounts, 4 to 6 weeks, will be back sooner than we expected. Those are all good things. What happens until then? There's nobody in this division that is so good that is going to go on a run of winning 22 of its next 25 to pull away from you. You are going to hang in there if for no other reason. This is not a knock on your team per se, but no other reason that the other teams aren't capable, in my mind, of going on some type of run that will make you irrelevant. You're not going to be Colorado of a year ago. Okay? There's your positive spin. That's what a lot of people want. God forbid you say something and have an expectation. The only people you can expect something of is the quarterback of the Detroit Lions and the goalie of the Detroit Red Wings. If you have expectations of anybody else and they fail to reach, or any other team, and they fail to reach those expectations, you are a hater, period. And at some point, you are going to get tired of going, 1984. It's the last time. Those are the things that are frustrating for me. As a diehard Tigers fan, my entire life and until I die, my frustration is it has been, and I loved that team, it's my favorite team, since 1984. And we're looking at little pieces of crumbs along the way that says, we're getting better, we're getting better. Yes, I like this guy, I like that guy. I want to frickin' win. Quick timeout. We're back with more after this. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort on X's and BrO's.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
I think, as that was happening, they started to pick up their pressure a little bit more. We got a little sped up, but we found our resolve. Got back to who we are. And talking about that, it's like moment to moment. Don't hang on to things that have happened in the past and don't look in the future. Just make the right play right now. And I thought our guys did that in the stretch.
Man, that's J.B. Bickerstaff. He's so good, man. He really educates you and the things that they look for. Talking about the fourth quarter dominance for the Pistons in a win last night. They're up 2-0 on Cleveland, heading to Cleveland tomorrow for Game 3. There are certain numbers, records that blow your mind, right? For me, one of them is Nolan Ryan's strikeout record. He has 5,714 in his career. No one's ever sniffing that. Randy Johnson is second, and Randy Johnson has 4,875. In other words, he has almost 1,000 fewer. And Randy Johnson, you and I would both agree, is a dominant player or was a dominant pitcher.
Yeah, one of the first ones that I recall being that good for sure.
Yeah. Right. And people talk about, and I'm not saying we're wrong here because I think Tarek Skubal's a hell of a player. But we talk about him like he's super dominant. He's not coming close. Nolan Ryan pitched 27 years. Think about that for a minute. 27. He's blown away guys who were his kids' ages. He was blown away players who played against Nolan Ryan, whose fathers played against Nolan Ryan. Right? I mean, it's crazy.
That's
so
just
he's got 800
of today.
I know, it's unheard of. He's got 839 in his, ahead of Randy Johnson. It'll never be broken. Henry Aaron. Okay. Think about the number of RBIs that he has in his career. 2,297. It's not going to be broken. Total bases will not be broken. 6,856 will not be broken. Henry Aaron, I think, is one of the more underrated players of all time. He's a home run hitting player, right? Obviously, because he's the home run king, unless you count cheating Barry Bonds. But he's the home run leading king. You think he ever struck out 100 times in his career? In a single season, do you think he struck out 100 times in his career? The answer to that is no. The most he ever struck out was 97 times. All right? He hit 44 bombs in 1963, and he only struck out 64 times. Those are eye-popping numbers. I'm going to give you a number right now that is more associated with an organization rather than a league. I think you and I both would agree that the Carolina Hurricanes are a really good team. They're up 3-0 right now after winning last night.
They're phenomenal. Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch, and this year they're actually having the playoff success, which is cool to see too.
Which I think is awesome. Okay. Philadelphia, you may not think they're great, but they won Carolina won 4-1 last night, and they're a hard team to play against. Okay. How many people do you know outside of Jordan Stahl and Evgeny Svechnikov? I don't know. Taylor Hall? Not many, but they're really good. And I think they've had some good success. They've won a cup for what it's worth. The Carolina Hurricanes have 94 all-time playoff wins. Okay. Rod Brindamore, who is their coach, their head coach right now, and used to be their captain, has been part of 92 of them. As a coach or a player, Rod Brindamore has been part of 98% of that organization's all-time playoff wins.
That's unbelievably impressive.
That is freaking unreal. Nobody else can say that in the history of that sport. I know it's got to be a unique circumstance. He's a unique person.
Yeah,
He played at
exactly.
Michigan State, in case people don't know.
Say,
I remember Ron. Hold on one second. Ron Mason said this to me. Ron Mason is the Hall of Fame former hockey coach at Michigan State. He was phenomenal. Okay, won a national championship. Rick Comley won a national championship there. Adam Nightingale's done a great job at Michigan State hockey. But Rod Brindamore was there for 1 year under Ron Mason. And I remember asking Ron Mason, kind of the stupid media question that everybody asks. Hey, man, who's the best player you ever had? Okay, all that kind of stuff. He told me that Rod Brindamore, it may not have been the best player he's ever had. I'll tell you, I think the best college player I've ever seen and ever called a game for was Ryan Miller. All right, Ryan Miller was unbelievable. And he was part of the outdoor game that I called at Michigan State, the first ever, the biggest until Michigan played Michigan State at Michigan Stadium. And I called that game too on TV. But Ron Mason told me that Rod Brindamore was a man when he came to Michigan State. And he's the one guy who he could have easily seen just bypassing, which didn't happen back in those days, bypassing college and going right to the pros. That's how big and strong he was. He's a hell of a player in the National Hockey League. Go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like you were saying, he's unique, or the circumstances unique. You don't just earn that, or you don't just get that without earning it. Like it's impressive to stick around anywhere that long and be a part of that much.
Yeah, he was, and still is. I mean, he's a tough dude, right? But it's a great stat. And it's not my stat. All right, Darren Rovell came up with that, or ESPN actually came up. No, I'm sorry, TNT last night came up with it. It's a great statistic. It's something you should at least take knowledge of, and it's really good stuff. I wanted to, geez, the people who are just killing the Cavaliers on social media today, just 2 trash cans going down the road because it's heavy rains and the rain on the road is just taking them, and the trash cans are just going right down somebody's street, and somebody says, here's Evan Mobley and James Harden on their way back to Cleveland after playing Detroit in game 2 last night. It's fantastic. I wanted to ask this question because I read this the other day. It's optimism for certain teams. So I saw something that I thought was kind of silly. I don't want to say it's stupid, but to me, I thought it was a bit of a joke. Fox NFL came out with the top offenses entering OTAs for teams. Organized team activities. How many of people out there feel like their offense is going to be able to pick up where it came from a year ago? And Fox, with the additions in the draft and free agency, Fox has the Rams at number 1. You could understand that. I mean, Matthew Stafford and that Rams offense with Puka Nacua, as long as he's not institutionalized anywhere, and the 75 tight ends that they carry on their roster, and of course the outstanding red zone threat that they have on a regular basis, especially not just Nacua, even though I think he's kind of underutilized down there. But if you look at receiving touchdowns a year ago, Devontae Adams, right, 14. So you could understand that to a certain extent. Cowboys too, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott has good regular seasons. Okay, I can buy that. The Bengals with Joe Burrow and his 2 receivers led by Jamar Chase. I get that. Seahawks, now you're starting to lose me a little bit. Just because they won the Super Bowl. It's unfair, but I'm still wondering a little bit about Sam Darnold. That's not fair on my part, but I can't help it. I'm just being honest with you. The Bills, well, they added some things for Josh Allen. The Bears, the Ravens, the Patriots, the Chiefs, then the Lions at 10. I thought that was way too low for the Lions. I don't want to sound like a homer here. That's not necessarily fair. I try to be as objective as possible when it comes to these types of discussions. They've got a new offensive coordinator. They still have the same quarterback who was pretty damn good. They still have one of the best running backs in football, one of the best tight ends in football, one of the best wide receivers in football, right? They haven't lost any of that. If anything, they have gotten better because of their offensive line. And it's a team that last year finished 5th in the league in scoring. It's a team that last year finished 3rd in the league in passing yards per game, and a team that was top half in rushing yards per game. What am I missing there? I don't know. Seems odd. Anyway, what gives you your most optimistic belief that the Lions will be better than the cellar dwellers they were in the NFC North a year ago?
Well, it has to be the offensive line. Yeah, I don't know
offensive
if you're
line.
asking me, but yeah, that has to be the offensive line to me, just based off what they've tried to do to it. You have to hope that that's better, and if Goff doesn't get sacked, career high times, that they are a better team.
I would say that I think you're right there. If I can extend it and cheat, this is me cheating here. I would say trenches.
Yeah,
because I don't think it's just the offensive line.
No, definitely.
I think you're right there. They got better with Cade Mays, and you hope they got better with Blake Miller. But quite honestly, Andy, I don't know. I know how good of a player he was at Clemson. I know how consistent he was. I know how durable he was. Obviously, we know how big he is. And it sure seems like he's a pretty strong dude. But offensive linemen, especially tackles, sometimes have to ease their way into their new role in their new league. I'm going to say trenches, and here's the reason I'm going to say trenches. I don't think it's just Cade Mays. I don't think it's just Blake Miller. I don't think it's just an improvement from Tate Ratledge, who was better than people thought a year ago. I also think it's because you were able to add pieces along your defensive line as well.
Yeah, that matters.
And I would argue, because this team lost its identity, you and I would agree with that. A year ago, 2 years ago, they were the second best offensive line in football behind the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, they were horrid. It's the reason Jared Goff suffered more sacks than he had ever done before. I think their defensive line is going to be better. And I would say their defense as a whole will be better. It can't get much worse.
That's what I was going to say. That was the problem last year. A lot of the time, too.
That was a massive problem.
Yeah.
Like I bring this up all the time, and you're right, Andy. The offensive line was bad, period. Was it their biggest problem? It's a good debate. I think it's in the conversation for sure. But we can't forget about the defense. And here's what CBS says. They're kind of mixing it. The reason for Tiger or Lions fans should be so optimistic is defensive youth movement. Here's what they write. The Lions' high-scoring offense struggled to make up for a lackluster defense in 2025. Like Dallas, Detroit looked to remedy that issue in the offseason. They added a slew of defensive depth during free agency, which is underrated right now. Just because you don't fall in love with Roger McCreary and think he's the second coming of Darrelle Revis doesn't mean he's not going to help this team. They've added guys just in case, either injuries or for situational football, which I think is really important. They used a second-round pick to acquire pass rusher Derek Moore, a local product who tallied 10 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 10 tackles for loss at his final season at Michigan. He will look to pose a formidable duo with fellow defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. So those are some of the things that CBS recognized, and I don't think we're too far off. They didn't put in there is what I would say is the key additions to their offensive line. Easy just to look at the first-round pick of Blake Miller. But remember, they added, again, I'm just talking about depth standpoint, Juice Scruggs. Juice Scruggs is going to help them if there's injury. You're going to have injuries. Offensive line is much like pitching, starting pitching. You better have guys in reserve. Even if it's just for a quarter or a series, you better have guys in reserve. The Tigers are being tested in that regard. The Lions were tested in that regard a year ago, and it wasn't very good. I would also argue this. I love the competition that's about to ensue at left guard. I don't think that is finalized by any stretch. In the chat, Michael responded, agreed. I think they even out, and hopefully this year they can close out the division. He's referring to the Tigers because he had made a mention in the chat on YouTube in that regard. I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you for joining us. Always appreciative. Let's get to the final results of our poll question. Monday, we're going to bring back an old staple with Andy McDonald, and I'm looking forward to that too. That's a little bit of a tease for you on Monday. This is what we asked you. This is what we asked you yesterday. How much do you care, as I wince, about the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini alleged affair? Hey, let's go on a boat together. But you're pregnant. That's okay. Let's go for 2 to 3 hours. What do you talk about for 2 to 3 hours? Why would Mike Vrabel go on a boat with a pregnant woman, believed to be not his child, right, for 2 to 3 hours? Are you just going to talk about, hey, guess what? The Tennessee Titans really want Julio Jones. Can you possibly make it sound like he's going to come to Tennessee? Is that possible? So you can help us out? Sure, I can do that, Mike. Okay. What do I get out of it? Well, here's what you get out of it. A 3-hour boat tour? I don't think so. This is a whacked out story. I don't see how he returns, Andy. I just don't see it.
Which is absolutely insane with how last season went for them.
It is insane.
It's just crazy to think about. But yeah, the results, not at all for so not being interested. That I did win the vote at 46%, but I still think there's a lot of discrepancy here. You got follow a little bit, 26%. So basically, kind of like if you hear about it. Immersed in it was 15%, and just wanted to see it end was 13. So there was plenty of different votes there.
It's good. All right. I appreciate everybody voting. Those who say not at all, I don't believe it. I think you'll love the soap opera. There are certain things that we gravitate toward in our pop culture. We gravitate toward affairs and mobsters. We love to, there's a part of us that's just going, I wonder what that life is like. Like, how do you lead two different lives, these two people? Here's another question. How are you so open about it? You have to sign this contract. Oh, that's okay. Mike Vrabel. Oh, no worries. Diana Rossini. No one's going to know. Come on. Let's just walk down the dock. Did you pack a lunch, honey? I sure did. Great. What do you have? Well, I've got some really good drinks, and I've got ham sandwiches. I don't like ham sandwiches. I made peanut butter and jelly just in case. That's great. Thank you, dear. Pilot, we're ready to go. Aye, aye, Captain. Who does this stuff? Who takes time out of their day to go, I've got 3 hours to burn. You've got kids and a wife at home. She's got kids and a husband at home. You're going to spend 3 hours with somebody you're not having an affair with? Bull crap. Think about it for a minute. I'm serious. You and I spend 3 hours a day because we get paid. I know Andy McDonald doesn't want to spend 3 hours with me. I don't blame him.
That's not true.
Okay. But who in their right mind does that? You could be doing so many other productive things. Diana, chase down another story. Dan or Mike, come up with another play. How am I going to use Derrick Henry today? How can I find a way to get him more involved? I mean, it's absolutely nuts, and it's not going to end well for him. That's an easy and popular opinion. Thanks all week long for everything that you've added to our program. We always appreciate it. And our thanks especially to John Paul Morosi today. We're back with you Monday at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the huge show later on today, and have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and education